So by the title of this video, I'm pretty sure you guys already know what I'm going to be talking about, and it's kind of impossible at this point for me to believe that, anyone watching this video doesn't know what I'm referring to. I mean, you literally have to be living under a rock to not know about the murders of Alton, Sterling, and I think it's Philando, Castile. I'm not exactly sure if I'm saying that correctly. These are two murders, and yes, murders that were committed by police officers against two black men less than 24 hours apart. I don't even know what to say. I turned on this camera and didn't have a plan, didn't have a script of what to say, but I just knew I wanted to. I knew I needed to say something. But like literally, what do you say? What do you say? Today, my heart is just so heavy. I'm mourning the loss of these men as if I knew them personally, because I take it personally. I am angry. I'm hurt. And I just feel so frustrated and helpless because there's nothing that I can do about it. It's nothing. What can I do? You know what I mean? Like seriously, I wish I had the answer to that question. I wish I could come up with some formula or some resolution to make this hatred go away. I wish I could. But I will be the first one to tell you that I have no earthly idea how to stop it, how to make it go away. I don't know. I mean, can you tell me? Because sincerely, I really want to know. And I stand behind anybody that can come up with a resolution. Anybody who can put together a resolution to put an end to this foolishness. I support you. I'll be the first to stand behind you. It's just so unfair. Being black should not hurt. It should not hurt. Being a person of color, it shouldn't hurt. But it hurts. It hurts when I turn on the TV, when I look at Twitter, when I look at Instagram, and I'm seeing people take their last breaths. Over and over again. It's not fair that as a person of color, when I'm driving in my own vehicle that I paid for with my own money, that if a police officer pulls up behind me, then I immediately get anxiety. Not because I've done anything wrong, not because I have a criminal record, not because my license is expired, not because I don't have insurance, not because I have drugs in my car, none of that. Because I don't have a record. I don't do drugs. Not because I feel convicted because I did something wrong and the police might catch me because I'm black, and I'm prone to criminal tendencies. No. I get anxiety because being black, I feel like it's just a crime in itself. I mean, I cannot take my skin off. I was born this way. And I love my melanin. I love my brown skin. I love being a black woman. But it's not fair. that this society, this racist culture that we live in, makes my pride in myself painful. It's not fair that I'm afraid for my husband to leave the house because I don't know if he may come across some renegade cop that might take his life. It's not fair that I worry about my brothers just because they are black. It's not fair that I'm afraid for their life. It's not fair that I look at my 3-year-old nephew and I wonder if the world will be better by the time that he starts to make a way for himself. It's not fair. But I fear for the life of children that I have not even given birth to yet. I mean, last night I was sitting in my bed watching this thinking, Princess, you want to have kids? You want to bring kids into this? You want to have little brown babies and expose them to this? What freedom? I don't feel free. And that's exactly what they want, huh? Something has to change. Something has to give. And I'm tired. I'm tired of hashtags. How many more hashtags before the people who can do something stand up and do something? Oh, but wait. Those people don't care about us, right? Those people don't care. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? America, you gotta do better. You gotta do better. And if you see and hear about these atrocities, and if it doesn't weigh on your heart, something is wrong with you. Because from a human perspective, you cannot see that much hurt and pain. You cannot see this much hurt and pain in humans and be okay with it. And if you are capable of being okay with it, something is wrong. Something is wrong. And y'all, you know, I'm a faith-driven person. You know, I'm a faith-driven person, so I do believe in prayer. I believe in the power of prayer. But the Bible also says that faith without works is dead. So yeah, let's pray. Because the world needs prayer. We need prayer. But let's work too. What are we going to do? What are we going to do to evoke change? What can we as a community do to pull together to make a difference? For them to hear us, and not only hear us, but feel us. What can we do? But something has to change. It has to. And I'm willing to be a part of that something that has to change. Are you? Some of the critics, you know, those who, I guess, support what's happening to the black community may say, well, you know, they had criminal backgrounds and blah, blah, blah. Well, first and foremost, I want to say, regardless to what a person has done in their past, that does not justify them being murdered, okay? And secondly, you know, not every case of an individual being brutalized by police, you know, not every case of a black man being brutalized by a public servant is that person a criminal or have a criminal background. Philando, I'm going to show you him right here on my phone. That's the guy who was killed less than 24 hours after the first murder. He didn't have a criminal background. Yes, he had a weapon, a concealed weapon. but he was licensed to have it. So again, that brings me to, you know, the fact that the only crime committed here was the fact that he was black. They were pulled over for a busted tail light. This officer discharged his weapon with a child in the car. What if one of those bullets would have hit that child? What if? You know? But the very first thing the media wants to do, the very first thing anybody wants to do is say, oh, well, let's find out what this person did in their life. Let's figure out a way to make it okay to do what we did. Let's dig up some dirt and let's dig up the past and see if we can say, oh, this person wasn't a good person anyway, so they deserve to die. It's crazy. It's crazy. In no place else other than America are the victims of murder put on trial after they have been killed. Where they do that at? America. Don't protect me. You tell me, who do we call? Who do we call when we need to be protected? When the people who are supposed to be protecting us are killing us, brutalizing us. Who do we call when we need to be protected? You tell me. Because I don't know. And you know, and I'm not saying that every police officer out there is a problem. I'm not saying that every police officer has that same mentality, but too many of them do. And for those police officers who are not out there, you know, strong arming people and being disrespectful and being prejudiced and being renegade cops, and for those of you who are not, who are aware of your colleagues who are doing that, stand up. Why aren't you saying anything? In my field, if I were to ever come across someone who was stepping out of line, who was not protecting children, who was bringing harm to them, who was not being ethical, I would speak up. There is no code that anyone can make me abide to when I know that someone is being hurt. Anything? Why don't y'all say anything? Why don't you say anything so that those people can be removed and taken out of positions that require them to be servants? You are servants to the public. But all you doing is serving bullets and creating hashtags. Some more. You know, I was talking to my mom and I told her, I said, you know, Mama, I feel like members of law enforcement, not all of y'all, so I don't want this to feel like I seem as though I'm beating down all police officers, but for those for whom the shoe fits, put it on, okay? But I feel as though, you know, I was telling my mom, I feel like every year there's some meeting, you know, some kind of sit down, and I feel like they'd be like, okay, so this year how many we gonna take out? You know, because we need to remind them. We want them to be fearful. We want them to stay in their place. You know, it's just kind of like what they did back in the day during slavery. You know, how they beat you into submission and beat you into fear. This is it being done modern day. You know, they've exchanged lynching ropes for handguns and KKK hoods for badges. And they're protected under the law. Under whatever means they can justify, they sweep it under the rug. There is a blatant attack on the black community. Always it has been. I know how it feels to live in a world that doesn't appreciate you, that doesn't love you, that doesn't celebrate your greatness, but always tries to find ways to beat you down. That's our reality. Just like Jesse Williams said, just because we're magic, it doesn't mean we're not real. We're real people with real feelings, real goals, real aspirations. We're not here for your entertainment. We want to live, and our lives matter. Our lives do matter. And I'm going to end on this note. For all those people that want to say all lives matter, why can't we just say all lives matter? Well, let me kick it to you like this. To say that all lives matter would imply that Black lives matter as well. And time and time again, history has shown us that Black lives do not matter. Okay? And yes, all lives do matter. You know, God commands me to love people and to love God. To love people and to love God. God doesn't specify what kind of people. He doesn't say only Black people. He doesn't say only Hispanic people, not only white people. He says love people, all people, and to love Him. Love people, love God. Those are His greatest commandments. You know, so I'm not saying that all lives don't matter. But when you say all lives matter, you take the spotlight off of the issue at hand. And that issue is the fact that in this country, Black lives do not matter. They don't. And you cannot convince me otherwise. You can't. Not when someone that I love or myself can be shot to death because you fear my skin. God didn't give me a choice of what race or ethnicity that I would be brought into this world as. And like I said already, I can't take my skin off. Can't take my skin off. And I don't want to.